in that first round pick on a tight end, and he
Right.
had several opportunities in this game. We're going to start breaking some of his film down right now, but he could have had more. There's more meat on the bone, and you saw that play. So, while he did bypass Kincaid on that play, this was early in the game, first quarter, 6:38, a 13-yard gain where he didn't. And it's that Gotti concept. It's the same concept that they ran to Diggs and Davis, and it was intercepted. It's the same thing. So top of the screen, slot route, option route by Kincaid. And you can see the linebackers inside. You have the safety and outside corner and off coverage. There's a lot of green out there. So you see him slow play it and then snap outside. Ball's on him. Really nice placement. He can do something after the catch. He turns upfield and they're able to move the chains. I'm excited about this guy. We've talked about it week in and week out. He needs to be one of the top target getters from here on out. Even when Knox comes back, Kincaid should still be number 2, really, when it comes to targets in this offense. And like the last play, especially if we're talking over the middle of the field, unlike this one that is outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for, speaking in a vacuum, like this upcoming game against Denver, like Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton, like if you can isolate Kincaid on them in space, oh boy, like he should have a day in theory. This one's really nice. Like I don't have too much to add. I just really like how he slow plays it. He understands the spacing and the leverage. And then the way he just snaps it off, finds the space. And then the good ball placement from Allen and Kincaid, that fluidity like that we talk about all the time, his ability to just catch with his hands, tuck and get upfield. It's so smooth. He transitions from pass catcher to ball carrier so quickly and so smoothly. He's got good, efficient movements. Like there's athletic technicality to what he's doing in addition to his ability to read coverages and leverage.
All right, on to the next play, 1st and 10 situation, second quarter still 1:13 on the clock. And this is a play we've broken down many times. It's their too high safety beater concept. And you're going to see them kind of roll into this cover 2 or Tampa 2 type look. Again, junk defense, man. They were throwing all different types of looks, but getting to those base type coverages. But I just like Josh on this play because initially the primary read is Diggs to the top of the screen. But as the play unfolds, you're going to see these guys just flash out to him. And so Josh is like, okay, I'll hit number 2 over the middle, Dalton Kincaid, who we're going to talk about a bunch in this film room. He moves on to him, hits him over the middle, and that's an easy first down play, 10 yards. Bills are moving the ball.
Yeah, nice, quick, decisive throw again from Josh Allen in rhythm. He IDs what happens post snap. There's a play later in this game on a similar levels concept where he does not hit Kincaid, which is extremely frustrating. And I got into an argument with someone on Twitter about it. It's again like this is when Allen is at his best because he has that chaos creation ability. But when he's able to just play in rhythm and on time with the play and within the structure, it makes him truly like indefensible, because if he can operate like this and then at the same time like uncork a 30-yard run or some ridiculous shot downfield with the arm that he has, like this really starts to put fear into defenses a bit more. And also good job from Kincaid, like recognizing what's happening in front of him, and he finds space, makes himself available. Allen gets it inside Trey Hendrickson, who's dropping off there as they get creative with their drop 8 or like as in this instance the 7 look there with the blitz. But yeah, nice rhythm on time, good to see.
Yeah, no doubt. And so we're going to go to another play from Kincaid. This is an 11-yard gain in the third quarter, 1st and 10 situation. These RPOs, once again, that we loved from the Bucs game. And we talked about the option routes at the beginning of this breakdown, Anthony. And this is why the RPOs, once they started running these, we're like, oh my God, these look so crisp.
Yes.
They're gaining yards. It's decisive because these routes are locked in. There's no option routes. There's no Josh Allen waiting for a wide receiver to read the leverage, for him to read the leverage, and the timing and the spacing is so important. It's Josh making a decision with the ball on these locked routes. It's a two-man route combination. And we talked about Davis doing all those little things. Watch this play. This is the flats defender right here. I think that's Hilton as well, right? Is that Hilton right there?
Correct.
Watch Davis run the interference right there and pick him, rub play right there. And that allows Kincaid to get out in the flats on that diagonal route. And you talked about that fluidity and ability to transition into a runner after that catch. I mean, it's so smooth for an 11-yard gain.
Man, these RPOs, these last 2 games, like have just really started to click a bit for the Bills. And I'd like them to get into it more from the perspective of like that locked idea. I really like how just it simplifies things. And whether it's, the glances or the free access to the outside, like, you highlighted too, like, what does this come with? Like, our favorite, like one of our favorite run concepts that they
Right.
nail, like the tackle wrap, that dart play. And then Allen is reading to the right here. He's got the edge coming off, and it's just a simple, and especially too with Hilton over the top there, like, where do I go? What do I do? And this is also too where it presents, like, again, we go with this idea of like the modern day triple option. Like, it just
Mhm.
gives you so many opportunities. Like, you can hand the ball off, Allen can throw it, he can keep it and run. Like, there's all these pieces that,
Screen to the
y-
bottom, which we saw early in the game
yes,
when Diggs broke it.
yes, like, oh yeah, where he gets like kind of slingshotted forward
Yep.
and doesn't go down. Like, there's all these options based off of the defense's leverage, but it's not options for the receivers where it can lead to too much
Bingo.
thinking and too much headiness. It's just a one-stop shop thinking for Allen, and he
There's
only has to,
layers. There's
exactly.
layers, right? There's
Boom.
layers on this play.
Yeah, like, much like onions and ogres and parfaits, layers are good, and everybody loves parfaits, everybody loves layers. And the Bills running into this a bit more and kind of using these pieces, I think, starts to simplify things for Allen for this offense. And again, that Gabe Davis piece is brilliant. And Davis even sells it a little bit, like Hilton is the one who knocked him off his route, like he throws his arm up in the air. It's a nice additional sell from Davis as he kind of runs interference and obstructs Hilton. But, Allen is comfortable in this world, and there's tons of space underneath for Kincaid. And that's too where you want to get him, right, Eric? Because
Yeah.
when you get the space, when you get the ball to Kincaid in space underneath like that, you got corners and safeties trying to make a tackle on him. And we've seen him punish those dudes and make plays against them. Oh, and also we got a super chat here from Colin Clifford. Colin, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah,
And
thank
thank you
you.
very much for the super chat. That's awesome. Colin says, it seems like Josh is just not anticipating enough within the structure of the offense, at least lately. And then he says, great show, guys. Oh, thank you, Colin. What are your thoughts there, Eric, on Colin's comment?
Yeah, I will agree to a certain extent. And that's why I say, like, okay, what's the difference? What's the difference here? And that has to come back to coaching, whether that's Joe Brady
Mhm.
or Ken Dorsey. I feel like we always compare Dable to Dorsey. I feel like under Dable, Josh did a much better job of smoothly going through progressions consistently. And
Mm.
we're just not seeing that as consistently in this offense. And again, I think that comes back to the coaching staff. And yes, Josh has a hand in that.
Mhm.
But I do think that something's missing here. And that's where I said that, in the video I did, the devil's in the details. Like, those details are being lost at some inopportune times. And we saw it in this game where Josh wasn't pulling the trigger. There was a play over the middle where they're trying to build on their mesh concept, but they kind of pivot those guys back out to the boundary. And there's a slight little window over the middle of the field to Kincaid that Josh could have pulled the trigger, but he didn't. I think that was third down too, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, 3rd and 2. So there's opportunities. Yes, some of the blame does go to Josh, but what's different? What's so different about this year versus prior years? And I think it has to come back to the coaching staff, and the blame does go to Josh Allen as well. So I do agree to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so frustrating with all of it. Like, there is no necessarily, like, there is no like band-aid fix, because it's not this one small like core thing. Like, it's a multitude of individual pieces that all add up and kind of lead to the situation where the Bills are at right now. And granted, if you could fix some things at the top, the potential positive trickle down might cure some of the pieces, but it's not this just simplistic, oh yeah, just turn this dial and
You're
everything
right.
switches. It's a layered problem, to tie that back to the, ogres and onions and parfaits.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So on to the next play, third quarter, 1:45 on the clock, 1st and 10 situation. Again, studying Kincaid. This is a curl swing concept to the top of the screen. Cool little concept, honestly, because then you have Diggs from the slot running the over. Something that the Bills ran a few years ago in Seattle when McKenzie hit I think it was the Seahawks game where McKenzie was up over the top. Same type of
Mm.
thing, but man, that transition once again at the top of this route on the curl swing. Watch Kincaid, boom, good body language, shows his eyes, shows his numbers. Josh hits him, but then as Wilson is coming down to make the tackle, just a smooth, he just does this all the time. Smooth pivot back inside to gain a few more yards and to get the first out. Man, it's just too easy with him sometimes. He just knows where to go with the ball once he catches it. It's just so smooth, and he's able to move the chains, man. I'm excited about this kid. He's going to be so much fun to watch for the next few years.
His feel for players and spacing and how he's able to translate that recognition to movement physically, again, it's just impressive. We saw it in training camp. We saw it a bit in the preseason, and it translating and happening in the regular season is just awesome. Like that's the big takeaway for me. Like as he makes this catch, he's already planted on his right leg, but he makes the catch and he leans into it, which gets which gets Wilson to keep committing. Yeah, literally, he tries to like skirt, like, and doesn't, slides. You see all the little rubber pellets clicking up there, and just gets around him and gets upfield. Like if Dax Hill, number 23, isn't there to make that tackle, he's turning the corner and getting upfield easily on Wilson, maybe even potentially on Pratt, although Pratt takes a good angle. Like that type of feel, not only the understanding to like sit and immediately turn
Look at
once.
those eyes. Like as
Yes,
soon as Pratt is showing that body language, he's going to flash out to the flats. Like look at the eyes and body language. That's beautiful.
it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And you know who we saw like move like this when they got him? Emmanuel Sanders would operate like this for the Bills, especially on this type of concept where you kind of running that snag route there. But Sanders was this well-traveled veteran who ran in all these very professional offenses with coordinators and quarterbacks. And so it was like, oh, like that's why you bring him in. Like Kincaid showing flashes of that already in year one in week 9. It's just really impressive to see how he moves like that feel as he's making that catch. He's already like engaging in the move to beat Wilson. Technically, he does the thing. He violates the rule. Like he doesn't even look the ball in. He just catches it. And as he's making the catch, he's already IDing Wilson and setting up that move. And he does it instantaneously, smoothly, fluidly. Beautiful, man. And he does it regularly on like everything.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And so later in the game, unfortunately, we got to break this play down. His fumble, fourth quarter, 13-25, first and 10 situation, 9-yard gain here, but you do see the fumble. But again, building on top of that Gotti concept, that option route from the slot. And this is just one filthy route. It's a route we saw from him. I think it was a preseason against the Steelers,
Yeah,
right?
he was cooking everybody.
Yeah, cooking everyone. Right. And so, we showed that play earlier, and Pratt was kind of late to get out there. So watch him buzz out and try to close that distance down. And then you get the crossover from Kincaid, but Pratt gets the final say on this play as Kincaid transitions up the field. He gets his legs cut out from under him. And then Pratt with like a really nice punch out causes the fumble. Disappointing ending to this play, but man, that route running was pretty sick from the tight end.
Yeah, like you said, kudos to Pratt. Like he gets beat, but gets on his horse to try and make up for it. And he does by getting this ball out and creating the turnover. But damn, like that's another crossover type move.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an and one mixtape type crossover right there. Like that's hot sauce with the professor, like at the top of the key, and it's so beautiful, the timing of it. And you see him do that regularly. Again, like going back to the Steelers, what was it against Cole Holcomb? He has a couple, I think maybe one against Quan Alexander. Yeah, Spillane or maybe Quan Alexander.
Yeah, one of those guys.
Just his ability to set up linebackers and second level defenders and then use their momentum and leverage to make them look foolish. He does it with regularity. And these are two really good linebackers that we've shown on back-to-back plays that he has outworked. Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt are both individually very good linebackers. As a duo, one of the best linebacker teams in all of football. And man, like I also too, like I can't believe like they got Pratt to come back on the team-friendly deal that he came back on. Like I thought for sure he was going to cash in somewhere else. But man, like Kincaid cooks him on this one. It's unfortunate with how this play ends up, especially where he would have gotten this ball down to, starting to get into the lower red zone area. But man, like what a route just from a fluid and setup standpoint. Beautiful.